Are you troubled by strange noises in the middle of the night? Have you ever experienced feelings of dread in your basement or attic? Have you or your family members ever seen a spook, specter, or ghost? If the answer is yes, then the only solution is to pick up Inside Edition's Ghostbusters, the ultimate visual history. I've been waiting for a book like this since I was a small boy playing with real Ghostbusters action figures. And remakes need not apply because this covers everything from the 30 years of Ghostbusters, its inception, all the way through Ghostbusters 2, the real Ghostbusters, the extreme Ghostbusters, all of the Ghostbusters video games, including the amazing 2009 Ghostbusters game, written by Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd, and features the original cast. Awesome, awesome game. Go check it out. It also covers things like the merchandising for the films and the cartoons. It covers a little bit on the fans themselves and the amazing work they do recreating costumes and proton packs, and great stuff. It also covers the IDW comic series by Eric Burnham and Dan Schoening, which is also amazing, and that is a recommendation. Go check those out if you have the time. You will not be disappointed, especially if you're a Ghostbusters fan like I am. Now, what is inside this book? Well, it's written by Daniel Wallace, who did an amazing job putting this book together. It's got an introduction by Dan Aykroyd and a foreword by Ivan Reitman, and photos galore. There are production stills that I have never seen before, and that's saying something. There's also concept art in this book I've never seen before. There's cool little tiny replicas. There's a replica of an animation cell from the real Ghostbusters featuring Peter Venkman. Peter Venkman's business card from Ghostbusters 2 is in here. The ratings card from the screenings of the film. Cool little tiny sticker for Stay Puft Marshmallows. There's a lot of great stuff in this book. Now, I can gush on and on, but I'm going to handle this like I handled the Star Trek costumes book. I've got a few selections in this book that I want to get to show off some of the awesome stuff inside of this book. So let's get right to it and dive into this amazing book on the Ghostbusters. Alrighty guys, here we have the front of the Ghostbusters Ultimate Visual History. I love the minimalism to the cover. We've got a foreword by Dan Aykroyd, an introduction by Ivan Reitman, and written by Daniel Wallace. Let's take a look at the back of the book. Here we have a great production still and some concept artwork that you'll find in the book, and a small listing of some of the cool little special items that are in this book, and I'll list them off for you. We have Peter Venkman's business card, a Cedric Hotel storyboard booklet, rare concept art sketches of ghost-busting gadgets, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man package sticker, production notes, and a schematic of the Gozer Temple miniature. Now there is more to the book than the 6 items, and I'll show a couple of them off. And speaking of Gozer Temple miniature, there is going to be a limited edition of this book that is done sort of in the Gozerian cult style. It's like in a giant, sort of like a stone tablet box, which I am looking forward to, and I will be buying when they announce it, and I'll throw a picture right up here so you can get a look. I am stoked. Now, on to the book itself. The sections are as follows. The largest section is Ghostbusters, the movie, then Ghostbusters 2 being the second largest. Then we move into both animated series with the real Ghostbusters and Extreme Ghostbusters. Then we get into the video games and the IDW comics, which are amazing. And then some of the toys and other merchandise. And then into a little bit on the fans and some Gallery 1988 stuff. So let's get this open. And we're going to start off with a great still photo of Egon Spangler's flight suit. Now this is, of course, the flight suit in its condition today, but I will be making many comments on the photographs in this book because the photography is absolutely gorgeous in this book. We get a close-up of the fascinating gadget that all the Ghostbusters had on their side. It was like a bunch of fuses on top of like a circuit board pulled out of like a calculator or I suppose the equivalent of like a PCIe card nowadays with some telephone cord running around. Really, really nice stuff. And here we have some more production stills on set of the movie. And then we're going to move on to the Ecto-1. Now, the Ecto-1 here is featured in a photo, and I have this as my computer wallpaper. This was from a deleted scene, the Fort Detmering scene, where Ray and Winston go check out a haunted fort that housed the poltergeist that ended up becoming the dream sequence for Ray when he is sexually assaulted, as it were. Now, the only sequence that was really finished was the brief sequence of his pants being taken off and some of the special effects for the scene, and of course them arriving and driving away, but nothing too complete. But the special effects sequence, which we'll talk about a little bit later, did end up in the movie for the dream sequence. And then on the next page, we have the concept art for the Ecto-1, and a couple stills here. We have the car as it originally was, the car just before filming, and the restored vehicle that they did a couple years ago for the 25th anniversary, I want to say, right around the time they did the video game. Now, moving forward, one of the cool little items in the book is the Ghostbusters Hotel Sedgwick storyboard sequence. And like all the other items in this book, you can move them out of the way to see other pieces of work or other pieces of text, and you don't have to worry about damaging any of them. But the sequence itself is awesome and a great comparison for how the film actually ended up in the end. Now, in the sequence, all 4 Ghostbusters were there, and in the movie, Winston had not yet joined the team. But there's some really, really great stuff in here. We also get to see the close-out and a great take where they're all laughing in the elevator. Now we're moving on to the proton pack itself. Again, this is a photo of the proton pack as it is now. And as you can see, the Neutrona one is kind of hanging by a thread, which makes me sad, but it is also just amazing to see the detail work that goes into a lot of this. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm sure there's somebody out there with a keener eye than mine who can tell you which pack which guy this pack belonged to, because I know each pack has subtle differences. I know the lighting sequence changed for every one of the members of the team, but really, really beautiful work, and a little piece of concept art here, which does sort of lift away so you can see a photo of the pack from production. We also have the trap and some production designs, and the PKE meter and the para goggles or the ecto goggles. Next up, we have a photo I wanted to show off of actress Slavita Jogin, and I hope I'm not mispronouncing her name, but I just wanted to show the gorgeous costume work that that is done here for Gozer the Gozerian, who was originally described as sort of an unassuming man in a gray suit. But the work itself is absolutely gorgeous, and I love the production still of everyone together filming the final sequence of the film. Moving forward, another gorgeous production photo of the makeup work done for actress Ruth Oliver, who played Eleanor Twitty, the Gray Lady, or the Librarian Ghost, whichever you prefer. She housed the Gozerian Codex and was sadly killed for it by the cult of Gozer. Now, of course, that's in the video game, which I also recommend. Go check that out. We have a beautiful still here of the puppetry for the transformation of Eleanor, and then on the next page, another great close-up of the puppet and the transformation, or at least the artwork of the transformation sequence, and a nice set of storyboards about from the opening sequence of the film. Moving on, everybody's favorite Class 5 full roaming vapor, Slimer, or the Onion Head. And again, just gorgeous photos. I love this close-up of the puppet for Slimer, and you have how he appeared in the film itself. And on the next page, we have some more storyboards and the beginning of concept artwork for Slimer. This one in particular frightens me the most, the giant chomping teeth. He looks like one of the sandworms from Beetlejuice. And on the next page, more pictures of the puppetry and the animatronics. Right there, you got to see sort of the inner endoskeleton of the puppet. And then the next production still we have here is of Kim Herron, who was the poltergeist ghost from the Fort Detmering scene. And again, just gorgeous photography. And moving on, now we're going to make our way into Ghostbusters 2. Oh, I know I did want to show off. Great photos here. Love the work that eventually went into becoming the final poster, which they're here to save the world, all 3 of the guys. Sadly, no Winston, and they always leave Winston out on a lot of the products, and that makes me sad. Here we go. Ghostbusters 2, the sequel, with everybody, including Sigourney Weaver and Ivan Reitman joining in on the fun. Here we go. We've got Peter Venkman's business card and some concept artwork from the Ghostbusters 2. And then moving on from there, that is so cool. Moving on from there, we have the second version of the Ecto-1, the Ecto-1A, or the Mark II. We have a cab here converted, we have a limousine converted, and then the design for the car that sort of made it into its final version in the film with a lot more top-heavy equipment to track down all those pesky ghosts. And moving on, we're moving into Vigo the Carpathian, the creepiest of creepy guys. Now we have a great photo of them getting ready to do the makeup work. Really, really beautiful stuff. Wilhelm von Homburg, I believe, was the actor for that. And here we have some concept artwork, and this is incredibly Frazetta for Vigo the Carpathian. We have some that's very much Vlad the Impaler, something that looks very much like a French version of Vigo. Beautiful, beautiful work. And on the next page here, Vigo as the Statue of Liberty, and then the setup for the photography that eventually became the Vigo painting. Really, really gorgeous stuff. Now we're going to be jumping ahead to some more tech. We have the slime blower and this great clear overlay that goes over the slime blower, so you can see the design and the final version, and the design of the slime blower gun itself, and more production stills. More tech here. We have the Geiger counter, or the Geigometer, and the slime scooper. We also have some more work on the second version of Slimer here, so his skeletal design and the more friendly look he acquired after the real Ghostbusters had come out and they had done Ghostbusters 2. Moving on, we have the section on the real Ghostbusters. Now, the real Ghostbusters is an absolute favorite of mine, and if you're a Ghostbusters fan who's never really seen the show, I would recommend at least checking out the first 70 episodes if you can grab the DVD box sets. J. Michael Straczynski, a famous comic book writer who also created Babylon 5, was showrunner for about the first 70 episodes of the show. Really, really awesome stuff. And they include this great little tiny miniature film cell, animation cell of Peter, voiced by Lorenzo Music, who was also Garfield, and coincidentally was taken over in the role by Bill Murray after his passing. And then we move on into the Extreme Ghostbusters, the sequel to the real Ghostbusters, with an older Egon Spengler leading a younger team, and of course Kylie Griffin, who would eventually come back in the IDW comics in a new version of the character. And that's exactly where we're gonna jump. We have Ghostbusters from Dan Schoening and Eric Burnham. Absolutely amazing stuff. There are 2 different series to this book, and there is a 3rd series coming out soon, Ghostbusters International. Go check them out. And not only did this comic series become really popular, Eric Burnham and Dan Schoening came back to do the Cryptozoic board game, which I will be doing an unboxing of, and the full cast of Ghostbusters from the comics will be in the game, and that has me super excited. Not only is Janine a member of the team in the comics, Kylie Griffin comes back in a new form from the Extreme Ghostbusters. We have Melanie Ortiz, the FBI agent who decides to join the team. We have Ron, Peter Venkman's foil, and the Nemesis from the Ghost Smashers. And of course, the rookie returns from the video game. Really, really cool stuff, and I can't wait to open that for you when it arrives. And we also have a cool little piece of art of the Ray Puffed Marshmallow Man from Ray's Nightmare sequence in the comics. This is a great series. I mean, come on, look how cool that is. This is Dan Schoening's artwork. Gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. And the book carries this consistency throughout. Amazing work from everyone involved. And finally, we move on into some of the toys. I remember having this cool little door hanger for myself. I also had the Ecto-1, I had the Proton Pack and the Trap and the PKE meter, and I also had the Firehouse, and it also came with a little tiny carton of slime that scared the hell out of me after watching Ghostbusters 2. I didn't want to mess with that stuff, just bad vibes from it entirely. And of course the actual toy came out a lot nicer than the one packaged on the box, which made me, as a little Ghostbusters fan, very, very happy. We also have the very cool Mego-style real Ghostbusters action figures done by Mattel a couple years ago. And we move on to the more modern-style action figures Mattel did. Really, really awesome stuff. And of course, slot machines for the gambling Ghostbuster. Here we have the awesome Lego Ghostbusters set, and the Lego Ghostbusters are now featured in Lego Dimensions, which is really, really cool stuff. And we close out the book with a section on some of the Gallery 1988 artwork, and of course, superfan Adam Savage in a little blurb about the Ghostbusters fandom. Come on, that's gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous artwork. And that is going to close out the book with a small section on the future of the Ghostbusters and a final piece of 30th anniversary artwork from Gallery 1988. And that is going to close out this brief look at Ghostbusters, the ultimate visual history, guys. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this brief look at the Ghostbusters Ultimate Visual History. This book is absolutely awesome. If you love Ghostbusters, you're probably going to love this book. And if you know someone who loves Ghostbusters, they're going to love this book. It's 35 bucks on Amazon.com. You won't be disappointed. I know I wasn't. The Ghostbusters mean a lot to me. Watching the real Ghostbusters as a little kid and watching the original movie is some of the earliest memories that I actually have of film in general. So Ray and Egon and Peter and Winston, they mean a heck of a lot to me. They are my heroes. Even before comic books came into my life, they were my heroes. Ordinary men becoming extraordinary heroes, science over superstition, important stuff, and strangely enough, strangely good life lessons to learn. So I want to thank Insight Editions and Daniel Wallace for putting together an amazing book. This book has instantly become near and dear to my heart. So once again, thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I want to thank these guys for putting together this awesome book. It's got great stuff in it, and I will catch you guys next time.